this year I'm really trying hard to get into a scrapping groove. I didn't scrap much last year at all, and so this year I really want to get back into it. So I've been doing the month of challenges at the Lily Pad, where I'm now a resident designer. Very excited. And yeah, so 1 minute, and we're going to pull up a challenge, and I'm going to be doing one of the challenges today. So I'm going to be doing the January 8th challenge, which is our one-word challenge. It says here that your challenge is to choose one word that describes you and to journal, and that you actually have to have a decent bit of journaling, and that the word has to be positive. Let's just get right into it. So I know right away that I want my background to just be a solid color, and I think for this I'm going to go with pink because pink is my favorite color. Hot pink in particular. All right, this is all using the I've Got a Plan January. I'm doing all my challenges in the same kit. That way at the end I can make a little like a little book. I've already picked out the photos that I'm going to use in this, but I'm not quite sure where I'm going to put them yet. I know there's going to be two, and there's a bit of an explanation with these photos as well. I thought what would be fun, or, you know, is to share a little bit about myself with you guys. Some of you know me, some of you might not know me whatsoever, which is fine as well. You're like, oh, who is this girl? I promise I'm not like full of myself or anything. I promise. The pictures here, I took one the other day. It was 2 degrees outside. And what you might notice is, or not, is that this hand placement is very specific. I have it covering my eye, my left eye, and it shows right in the photo, because I have a lazy eye and I'm very self-conscious about it. So sometimes I take pictures deliberately to hide this, which is kind of something I'm trying to get over this year. And my word for the year is courage. And I want to have a little bit more courage just in general about myself. Now look at this photo. See here, I look at this photo and I immediately notice my eye. I'm like, oh my gosh, my lazy eye, it looks so bad. How I can't use this photo anywhere. It's so noticeable. Though probably to you might not be that noticeable at all, but to me it's just, I'm like, oh, and I'm very self-conscious about it. So what better way to be courageous than to put it out there? This is just one of the many ways that I'm going to be working on being a little bit more courageous this year, being a little more comfortable in my own skin, you know, not being so much of a pushover. I'm pretty, my husband will tell you, I'm a bit of a pushover. I'm a bit, my family, everyone, like I'm pretty, I don't like confrontation. So because of that, I tend to just kind of go with whatever, you know, whatever the other person wants. I just, okay. But, that's not always fair to ourselves, right? Like sometimes we actually want to, you know, do something different, for yourself. So why not? All right. I'm just going to be dragging papers in here. I'm going to select the area that I'm going to drag the paper into. I didn't know that you could drag things from like your Windows Explorer folder directly into the layout. When someone taught me this, and it's recent, I should be embarrassed at how recently this was discovered by me. It like changed my scrapping life. It really did. So anyway, yeah, my new thing is, because I used to open up Elements, then I would copy it and paste it, and you know, and it took a while, but when you go right through the folder and you just drag it and drop it, talk about easy. Come on, that is like so simple. Can't get more simple than that. So yeah, these 2 photos, that's what I'm going for. And my journaling is going to be a bit about courage and you know, to just embrace who you are. It's something I'm trying to work on. You know, we can project a lot online. People, you know, might not see fully who you are, or it's easy to assume you kind of know a person, but you know, we all kind of definitely put our best face forward, which is, you know, understandable. But I think everyone has their own insecurities, and I definitely want to teach my daughters to be confident in themselves, and how can I teach them to be confident if I'm not confident yet in my abilities or whatnot. So I think this is a really important word for me to work on this year, to really get myself, you know, to get her there, but yeah, we all have our things. Lots of things. Like for me, I'm like, oh, my teeth are bad. I'm really fat. I have this lazy eye. I'm just, just the regular things, that self-talk that a lot of us have, where we listen to it, and it might, and not even might, it just typically isn't accurate whatsoever. I don't think I'm going to have this be a very element heavy layout, so I'm kind of looking for a few little tidbits to throw in here. I think I want to throw the year one in here because it is my word of the year. It's like the Pantone color of the year. What do you guys think of the Pantone colors of the year? That rose quartz, and I forget what the name is for the blue. I'm not so sure. It kind of reminds me of the little, the little hats that babies get when they're born in the hospital. I love the pink. I mean, I can use pink over and over and over. For me, the sky blue, though, that baby blue is not a favorite. So trying to pull that in is not going to be the most easy thing ever if I'm going to create something with that. How about you guys? I mean, do y'all love it? Do you hate it? What do you think about it? What do you think about it overall? I'm like, I feel very undecided about it. I kind of want to play around, see if I can make it work, and mess around with it enough to really love it. But yeah, so this is how I scrap. So whenever you're scrapping, do you listen to music? Are you, do you already have like a layout very much in mind? Or I'm curious. I'm always curious how other people, do their things. There you go, Leah. I think above, I'm going to have my one word. It's going to have courage. And then here is where I'm going to obviously write. So I think for now, I'm just going to go ahead and work on the title first before adding the rest of the elements. I think I'm going to move this flower kind of up here. That way this and this are balancing one another. If that makes sense. Yeah. So I'm just going to... I don't add drop shadows typically until like the very, very end. So I'm going to make my text area first. I'm just going to kind of wing it here. So, and then I'm going to take out the part here with the little button. Actually, it needs to be a little more like that. So what I do is I create a selection, and then after I've created my selection, I create a path. So make work path like that. So whenever I put my text in there, it'll just automatically not mess with that area. I could have used a circle, but I'm being lazy today. Journaling goes here. Right now I think this text is like white and crazy, but I didn't even spell it right. Journaling. Text. My computer's trying to catch up with itself, so sometimes it can act a little crazy. So now I have my little text block ready. Now up here, we're going to use the word courage. My dad was reminding me recently of, like my daughter doesn't even believe me when I say I was very shy, very quiet growing up. I was also very indecisive, not even kind of a scaredy cat, very much a scaredy cat. I'm going to be using Fresh Script also for the font here. One of my purchases recently. Anyway, whenever we would go pick up my brother from his mom's house, there was this store where there was penny candy. Oh my gosh, there's a penny candy store, and so what I would, what he would do is on the way there, we would all get to go into the penny candy store and pick out whatever candy we wanted. Like I forget how much, but whatever you wanted. And I would never pick anything out. Like I would sit there and I couldn't make a choice. Or I was like nervous about making a decision or making a mistake and picking out candy, Lord knows. But So my dad would usually get a little frustrated and he'd pick it out for me and, put it in the bag and take it in the car. But it's kind of this tendency of not wanting to make a mistake. I think a lot of people, I feel like there's two schools of people who just, do it, and other people who overthink everything. And I think I'm definitely an overthinker. I want to make this like a sticker. So I'm adding a bit of a stroke, like a very small stroke, maybe 15. I'm noticing there's like a little dot right there, and it's from the font. So I'm going to erase, after I rasterize this. But yeah, I feel like that color is a little light too. So I'm loving lime green lately. But yeah, so anyway, working on just being a little more assertive, I guess, making a choice and not overthinking it. I guess it's not a bad thing to think about things through, but it's also not good to be paralyzed with indecision. Because you're not happy when you're like that. You're just, you're not making choices because you're afraid. I'm going to be using a style on this. I have to pick which one. I think this is the one. I'm going to rasterize a style. Now it's like a stickery sticker. I might go back and edit that a little bit. I like the style on it, but I want to get rid of the inner glow. But you guys know me. I'm like addicted to styles. So the inner glow, I'm just taking it off. Now it's a bit brighter. Or if I put it back on, maybe I could just use a different color. A warmer color, perhaps. There. So with... yep, that's perfect. And I guess I could go ahead and add the drop shadow right now instead of doing it after the fact. I miss having like the whole options like all the way open right away. It kind of drives me a little nuts that they changed that so it's only like the most recent ones or whatever. I've gone into my settings, but I haven't been able to find where this is that this happens. If you guys know, leave me a comment. I'm all for being lazy and not Googling it myself. Right? I'm teasing, sort of teasing. But yeah, and I think this needs to go underneath because in reality, the sticker would not be going over the top of the flower, right? Right. All right. So here we go. Very rough draft. Oh yeah, and I was going to just share a little bit about me in general. I live in New York State, what people in the city call upstate, as we live about 50 miles as the crow flies, or actually more like 45 miles as the crow flies, from New York City, just north of Westchester County. And it's really beautiful up here, very in the spring when it comes around, which it seems like it takes forever, very green and, a beautiful fall. And it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous up here. Originally, I'm from the South. I'm from Mississippi, born and raised. And never had much of an accent, though. I kind of regret. I know it sounds silly because I love Southern accents. I just don't have much of one. My mom's from Puerto Rico, and I was raised with her and my stepdad, and he was from Ohio, so he didn't have much of an accent. My mom has a bit of a Hispanic accent, which I don't hear because I don't know. Do any of you have parents that are either from another country or another area and they have an accent and everyone tells you that they have this accent and you're like, I do not hear it. I cannot hear this accent that everyone else hears. So yeah, Puerto Rican mom, my dad, not my stepdad, my dad who lives on the Gulf Coast still, he is also born and raised in Mississippi, and just a really sweet and amazing man who's been really great at giving me some super good advice lately, or I should say recently. I'm putting on a style for the photos with just a little bit of trim. I could go in and maybe make it a little thinner instead of it being so thick. What do you guys think? I think I'll make it slightly thinner. So right now the stroke, it uses a pattern that gives it kind of like a little bit of a... Anyway, let's see. 25. There we go. I'm going to save it as a new style. because I kind of like that. All right, let's go back down. Saved it as a new style. Bam. There we go. Yeah, so I'm from Mississippi. I majored in music education whenever I was in college. I play the piano, though I have been really out of it. I haven't been playing. I have not really played in probably about a year now. I had gotten really into taking lessons again, and I was really on top of things, and then I wasn't. Life got busy as it tends to do, and this year I want to try to get back into the groove and play again, because I do love playing. I love playing the piano. Do you guys play any instruments? I also was in band, total band geek here, and I played the trombone of all things. I'm gonna off-kilter these guys just a little bit, Yeah, I played the trombone. I was like one of the only girls who played the trombone, because it's kind of like a, quote, boy instrument. I know that sounds silly, but like instruments are male or female, but that was an instrument that was definitely more just the guys. And I was pretty decent at it. I loved band. I loved, I just loved everything about it. What are you guys thinking of this so far? I'm not going to fill in the text until afterward, but I want to add a few accents. I think maybe some stitching, like maybe right here going down into the 2016. And I know we have some of that in here. Here's one. So we're just going to go ahead and use this guy right here. I'm going to flip him around. Yep. And maybe scale him down just a bit. I love the look of stuff just kind of overlapping, and if I wanted to really give this more of a tied down feel, I could do maybe a custom shadow. What do you guys think? Should I do a custom shadow? I like to add one shadow that's, not just a style in every layout. So I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take away the drop shadow on this one, and we're going to do that. So let's see here. All right, it's a shape. I'm just going to go ahead and merge these guys together, duplicate my layer, and recolor the one underneath it. I always recolor it first just so I kind of know what I'm doing. Color overlay, and try to go for a warmer color, but maybe one that's not too deep. Deep. And I'm going to go ahead and put a blend mode. So as we get going, we'll see what's going on. All right, so obviously if this like Brad flare and the stitching is holding it down, then the shadow would be kind of coming out more this way. So let's go ahead and we are going to use our warp tool. Warp. Oh, I have the total wrong thing selected. Right here. This one we're going to use the warp tool on. Yes, the right thing, not the wrong thing. All right, here we go. So we want this to feel like it's going to be more firmly attached there. We're going to drag this guy down just a little bit. Maybe pull here just slightly. Even that seems like a little bit much. Yeah. I'm going to pull just a tiny, maybe not that much. Right there. Okay. So I'm happy with the way that looks. I kind of sort of want to have the shadow just a little bit like that there. And I think I'm going to be happy with that. It's not going to be like a crazy shadow by any means. Then I'm just going to add a Gaussian blur on it, very small, like 2. 2 is perfect. Of course, this may not be everyone's cup of tea for a style, or not style, but a shadow, but I like it. I'm going to edit this one a little bit more to just kind of go in a bit more. I don't want it to be quite as oomph. Not quite as much oomph. There we go. Ta-da! There's my little shadow. All right. I'm going to do the same thing with the stitching. That's going to be fun. I'm going to turn off the flare button, though, while I do that. And I don't want this recording to go too long for the first time. So this is probably going to be the last thing I share before I pause and finish up my layout and say bye-bye. Whenever I have like stitching that's dark, I just go ahead and I'm lazy, and then I just use that. I'm going to rasterize my layer because right now it's a smart object. A smart object. Yes. I'm going to go to edit and to a puppet warp. And whenever I do a puppet warp, I like to go ahead and kind of anchor this guy down before I start editing the areas that I want to edit so it won't act crazy. Sometimes it still does act crazy. It's like, whatever, I'm going to do what I want to do. All right, so I have the light kind of coming that way, so I'm going to be pulling this guy like that, and this guy probably down a little bit like that. And if I turn that on, you can see there's the little difference. So we're going to do a linear burn. I'm going to go to like 60% maybe. No, less, 30. Yeah, I like 30. All right, and then I'm just going to go ahead and filter, do a little bit of a blur again, but this one's going to be even less. I might do like a 0.2 Gaussian blur, like not 0.2, 0.5. I don't think you can even do a 0.2. and there we go. So we have a little bit more of a dynamic shadow with the stitching. I like that. I dig it. Do you guys dig it? All right, I'm going to pause and finish up, and I'll be right back. As I was finishing up my layout, I'm back. I had, done my journaling and stuff, and I was like, I think I'm going to change something up a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and lock the background layer so I can select all these layers to, I don't know, just kind of move them. I think I'm going to put a journal card because I made this journal card that I really love. It's kind of like about writing your own story. I'm going to plop that right there. So let's do that real quick. I'm very close to being done, but I just wanted to make sure. It was like, what is she doing? You may notice I moved a few things around, just added a few little tiny elements, and yeah, pocket cards. I love, where'd you go, dude? Oh, there you are. You're right in front of me. So we're going to put him or her. It's her. Girl power. We're going to put her right here. Right, yeah. And sometimes when I'm really lazy, I'm like, sometimes when I'm really lazy, I could either put a piece of word art right there that fits nicely, or I could duplicate this layer and scale it down to just kind of fit like more like a block structure. And plus, I want to drag this guy way down underneath all the other layers, except for the paint layers because the paint is underneath. All right. What do you think? Word art? Maybe? Perhaps? Maybe? Let's see. All right. I might pause yet again and be like, and by the magic of television, it is done. I've got this. I've got this. Oh, it kind of fits perfect right there, right? Yes. Okay, there you go. It works pretty good. He could go there, but I don't think that's what I want. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to duplicate this guy. Why? Because I am too lazy to make a shape tool. Yeah, that's nice. Why does Leah do these things? Because she's lazy. Very, very lazy. I think what I'm going to do is I want to pull in some of that green color, or that limey, greeny, yellowy. I love it. I'm going to pull that color in just by using one of the papers and flinging it over there. Hope for the best. There we go. Yeah, that works. All right. All right, as you can see here, I moved things around a little bit more. I moved the title down here and just kind of rearranged a few things. Again, a pretty simple layout. I'm going to just pull this guy down as I'm looking at it. I had these black strips of paper just to add a little bit more visual interest, kind of pull your eyes toward the center. And yeah, that's it. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this first Scrap and Chat, and this will be, again, a weekly thing on Saturdays, so I'm very excited. Plus, I want to learn how to use some programs a little bit more with recording because I just find it very, very fun. As always, you can find me at the LilyPad, which is thelilypad.com. It has a little hyphen in there, /store/mommyish, always on my website, mommyish.net, or on Facebook, Instagram, which is mommyish.designs. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you again next week, and leave your comments or thoughts below. Have a great day and happy scrapping. Bye-bye.